Hello there, my friends. Welcome to week 11 Ennea-Insight. And this week we're looking into something that can genuinely transform how you experience your life. And that's acceptance and letting go. First, let's get a really clear idea on what I mean by acceptance and letting go. Acceptance is not about resignation or just giving up. It's about clearly seeing things as they really are, not as we think they should be. And that isn't easy for many of us. Letting go isn't losing something value. It's about releasing what is no longer serving your growth and making space for something healthier and more authentic. Let's explore briefly how each Enneagram type uniquely resists acceptance and see what clearly seeing things, holding on tightly, and acceptance might look like in real life. And for type ones, you might hold tightly to your standards and your ideals, believing that accepting imperfection means compromising your integrity. So imagine that you're the lead of a project at work and someone misses a kind of important detail. Clearly seeing that means acknowledging mistakes happen. We're still on track overall. Holding tightly means thinking and acting. If it's not perfect, we failed, causing stress and resentment. And you can see how that changes the whole energy in whatever environment you're in. Your energy, especially as the leader, can affect a lot of people. Acceptance looks like I can guide improvement without demanding perfection, leading to less stress and better teamwork. What feels better for you? I know which one does for me. For type twos now, you might resist acceptance by continually fearing that if you stop, you're going to lose value. You're going to lose a friend. You're going to lose a connection. So suppose, your adult child doesn't call as often as you'd like, and you feel like your connection with them is slipping a bit. Clearly seeing this situation and recognizes that they're busy and it's not personal at all. Holding tightly involves constantly checking in, over helping, feeling hurt when they don't respond promptly. Acceptance is gently reminding you when you're in that acceptance mode, you remind yourself, my value isn't defined by how often they reach out to me. And sometimes that's hard for parents, but it's such a miracle whenever you change that mindset, that perspective. For type threes, acceptance can feel like a threat to your identity as an achiever, as a go-getter, as a person who gets things done. So imagine if you didn't reach a very important personal milestone that you set for yourself. Clearly seeing that is just saying to yourself, I'm disappointed, but it doesn't define my worth. Holding tightly to your ego in that situation says, I'm failing unless I consistently outperform and do my very best. Acceptance allows you to say to yourself, my worth is more than my achievements. I'll learn and I'm going to keep growing. That takes so much pressure off. And then for type fours, acceptance can feel like losing your uniqueness or intensity. Suppose your partner misunderstands your feelings. And that happens a lot with us type fours. Clearly seeing this, and it helps us to acknowledge they don't understand right now, but they're trying. And holding tightly onto this and refusing to budge, my feelings matter. If they don't fully get me, our relationship doesn't work. And then accepting gently means just acknowledging to yourself, my feelings do matter, even if they're not fully understood yet. That's okay. If you're type 5 now, acceptance might mean losing control or feeling very vulnerable. So imagine you're overwhelmed at work, just overwhelmed, too much pressure on you, a lot of stress. Clearly seen admits, oh, and let me add to that. You're overwhelmed at work, but this type 5 tendency, but you refuse any help from anyone. And when you can clearly see this situation from this objective place, you can admit, I'm overwhelmed and I could use a little bit of support. But when you hold tightly on that perspective and on that tendency, you're like, I must handle everything alone or I am weak. And I am not weak. So when you get to that acceptance point, you gently acknowledge, you gently remind yourself, it's safe and it's also smart for me to accept help. Now, type 6, acceptance can trigger fear of uncertainty. So suppose that you're anxious about job security. A lot of people are right now. Clearly seeing this situation means recognizing I've done everything that I can right now. Holding tightly to that fear involves obsessing, seeking reassurance, endless worrying. But when you accept and accept softly, it gently says to you, I trust myself. I trust myself to handle whatever happens next. It gives you that little bit of confidence to know that you're going to be all right. Now, type 7s, acceptance can feel like, excuse me, so for type 7s, acceptance can feel like confronting discomfort directly. And you know that's pretty scary for a type 7. So imagine that you're type 7, frustrated at work, and you consider switching jobs immediately. Oh, I'm done with this. This isn't working anymore. When you can clearly see, that can say to you, I'm comfortable now, and running isn't going to help me. But holding tightly to the fear keeps you seeking new distractions, keeps you thinking about new, I've got to find something else. I got to find something else to do. This isn't working. But whenever you accept calmly, you can observe in yourself, you can remind yourself that it's okay to feel uncomfortable sometimes. Let's face this and we'll find solutions. And then type 8, remember those challengers, acceptance for them feels like surrendering control. And that is very uncomfortable for the type 8. So here you can imagine a close friend makes a big decision without consulting you at all. Whenever you, as a type 8, clearly recognize this and see it clearly, you realize that their choice is not a rejection, and it doesn't mean that they don't respect you. But holding tightly to that idea that you must be in control and that you're the one everyone comes to, you can feel out of control. You are like, they must include me, or I am being betrayed. You can take this as betrayal. But when you can accept and gently reassure yourself, you realize they're allowed to be independent. And that's something to look up in them, and that you are still valued and respected. And for type 9s, acceptance feels like risking conflict. Remember, type 9s are the peacemakers. Imagine that you're asked your opinion, you're put on the spot at work, you're asked your opinion, and you disagree with the majority. Clearly seeing this helps you to acknowledge your true feelings. Holding tightly to that fear of rocking the boat keeps you silent because you want to do whatever you can to avoid conflict and keep the peace. So when you accept, acceptance gently guides you to the idea of my perspective matters too, and it's okay to express it respectfully. Yeah, that's a very brave move for type 9s. Understanding your resistance to acceptance is deeply freeing. And this week, you're invited to explore and to question what you're holding on to and why. Awareness alone starts that very powerful process of releasing these limiting patterns. We talk about this a lot. It's so important in our lives. And then we're going to kind of jump into the detail next. After this video, please go to that detailed Ennea-Insight narrative, and it's going to take you even deeper into type-specific insights and practical ways to embrace acceptance and to let go in your daily life. I think you're going to find it really intriguing. Thanks so much. I'll see you in lesson 1.